So I was in 5th grade, and the town was having a big Easter egg hunting competition. So I showed up with my basket and my glasses on so I could see all the eggs, and I was pretty sure I was gonna win. So they fired a gun in the air to start the competition, and I started looking for eggs. And I was grabbing any egg I saw. I found eggs in bushes, and nooks, and crannies. I had so many eggs my basket was overflowing with eggs, and I knew I was gonna win. And then, here comes Byron Easter egg britches. See, the rule was, you were supposed to put the eggs in your basket, but Byron, he was stuffing the Easter eggs into his britches, and his britches were so big, he had a ton of eggs in there. He must have had thousands of eggs in his britches. So I chuckled to myself, and I said, that fool, he's gonna be disqualified for putting eggs in his britches instead of the basket. So then we go to count up all our eggs, and I got 37 eggs. And I'm feeling pretty good about that, because that's a lot of eggs. And then they count up how many eggs Byron has, and Byron got 2,624 eggs in his britches. And then they declare him the winner. And I say, no, that's bullshit. Because the rule was we were supposed to put the eggs in our basket, not our britches. And then the mayor said, kid, calm down. It's just an Easter egg hunting competition. It's not that big of a deal. And then I said, no, f*** that and f*** you, because those were the rules, and where are we without rules? So then my mom washed my mouth out with soap for cursing at the mayor, and Byron won the competition, and they congratulated him for being so smart for putting the eggs in his britches, and the mayor gave him a medal for collecting the most eggs ever. So for the next 10 years, Byron would win every Easter egg hunting competition by putting eggs in his britches. And I even tried to put eggs in my britches, but my britches were never big enough to collect enough eggs, and people said I was a copycat for putting eggs in my britches. After I got my powers, I decided to go look for all the Dragon Balls again, because I wanted to wish for my own planet, because I thought that would be cool. So I was flying around, destroying buildings, flipping cars and stuff, until eventually I did find all the Dragon Balls, and I wished for my own planet, full of naked women and the aliens from Toy Story, because I thought that would be funny. So I'm just hanging out on my planet with my naked women and the aliens and the naked aliens, because things got kind of weird there for a little while. And then all of a sudden, this white and purple alien dude shows up, and he kind of looks like a Digimon, and his name was like refrigerator or popsicle or something cold, I don't remember. And then he starts yelling at me about how he's the best in the universe and how he wants all my Dragon Balls, because I guess my planet just came with Dragon Balls. I didn't realize that planets just naturally had Dragon Balls, but whatever. I was like, listen man, I don't know who you are, but you're not getting my Dragon Balls. So then he starts pointing his finger, and then he starts shooting these lasers out, and he's killing all my babes and all the aliens, and I'm like, you wanna go, dog? So I start throwing haymakers. I'm teleporting around him, punching him and stuff, and I punch him in the balls, and it turns out he doesn't have balls, because I don't really know what kind of gender he is, because he's like an alien or something. And then he says, look over there, a naked woman. And I mean, I look, naturally, you know, because like naked. And then while I'm looking, he knocks me out, he steals all my Dragon Balls, he wishes for my powers, and he blows up my planet. So when I was in high school, there was this kid named Waldo. He wore this red striped shirt, glasses, and an inverted Santa hat. He was really weird. Well, anyway, this guy would always go missing. We would be sitting in class, and the next thing you know, the teacher's asking, where's Waldo? No one knew where he went. They would put the school on lockdown and look for him. They would check the bathrooms, the cafeteria, the gym. He was nowhere to be found. The whole town started looking for him. Missing posters all over the city, police helicopters, they checked the river. People started wondering if he got kidnapped. The police literally found 13 missing children while looking for Waldo. His parents were on the news crying and begging for Waldo to come home, and then after 6 months, the police ended the search and pronounced him dead. They had a funeral and everything. But then I was at the park and I saw him standing behind a tree. So back in high school, there was this kid named really wants to donate one of his kidneys, Dan. That was his real name, I'm not shitting you. And he really wanted to donate one of his kidneys. He would walk around the halls asking everybody if they needed a kidney. He would even ask the teachers. Every single day, all year long, he would ask everyone if they needed a kidney. He would fall to his knees in the cafeteria and scream, get this fucking kidney out of me. So then, one day, this girl named Really Needs a Kidney Transplant, Riley, transferred to our school, and she really needed a kidney transplant. So it was the best day ever for Dan. But then, it turned out Dan and Riley weren't a match, so they couldn't do the transplant, and Riley died. But then, Dan ended up giving one of his kidneys to our English teacher, Miss Can't Stop Drinking Alcohol Catherine. But then she died of liver failure. So I was a sophomore in high school, and the homecoming dance was coming up, and I wanted to go with Samantha Knob Gobbler, because word around the school was if you went on a date with her, she'd gobble your knob like corn on the cob. So I asked her out before anyone else, and she said yes. I was so excited. I was about to get my knob gobbled at homecoming. So I got myself a tuxedo, and I looked damn good. I looked like a young James Bond. I was ready. The only weird thing was my mom drove us to the dance, and she smokes with the windows rolled up, but I didn't care. I only had one thing on my mind, getting my knob gobbled. So she dropped us off at the dance, and I started boogie-woogieing. And there was a snack bar, and the local gas station was catering sushi. My school didn't have a big budget. So I ate a few pieces of the sushi, and I went back out on the dance floor to break it down. Then the song Witch Doctor came on, you know, the song that goes ooh-ee, you know, ooh-ah-ah. Don't forget the ting-tang, walla walla, end it with a bing-bang, you know that song? And that song was my shit. So when I went to twerk, I did shit. My pants. It came out of nowhere. And then right then, Samantha Knob Gobbler grabs me by my hand and says, "Hey, you want to ditch this dance and go get your knob gobbled?" So I said, "No, I'm actually gay, sorry," because I didn't want her to know I had a massive shit in my pants. She was so offended because nobody has ever turned down getting their knob gobbled by Samantha Knob Gobbler. So she ran away and drove off with Billy Bowling Hands. This was before he drowned. I'm sure his balls were like bowling balls.